Bleach Bros Podcast is proud to align itself with Jerky Pro, a beef jerky manufacturer established by military and paramilitary veterans.
Available in 3-ounce or 1-pound bags with great flavors such as honey glazed, teriyaki, red hot, apple cinnamon, original, peppered, sweet barbecue, and if you're ballsy enough, nuclear.
Be sure to use our promo code to get some of the best jerky on the market. Use Bleach Bros 5, all lowercase, to take advantage of this offer today.
What's up, everybody? OG Bleach Bro Mitch here, telling you to come talk and listen and visit with my friends Jake and B-Word.
Welcome into the Bleach Brothers Podcast. This is B-Word, and Jake, how you doing tonight, my man?
I'm good. This is the weirdest intro. You didn't even, I'm just going to jump in. You're not like, oh, and I'm here with my good buddy Jay. Is it because I ripped you last time?
No, it just has to do with, our intros have been just weird. Like sometimes you've been introing us and then sometimes I've been going. And then, we've, behind the curtain thing, we've had some internet issues, which seems to be on my end, as I'm finding, because those seem to be rectified. So hopefully that continues to move forward there. But no, man, I mean, life's good. Things are good. How are you?
Good. I just got back from a vacation, which you're about to go on a vacation. So it was nice. It was mine and the wife's anniversary trip. Had some interesting moments. Had some interesting times. I will say, great food. The best part about the trip, and you know how people say oh, did you go long enough? Did you not go enough? Yeah, it was the perfect amount of time. That's not really the point. The point is, when you do things on a trip, B-Word, you're like, I could have done without that, or that was a little expensive for what it was, or whatever. Everything we did, we had a fucking blast.
That's awesome.
There was no issues. But I don't know. Besides the genderless bathroom that I had to step into, and then found out there was a regular bathroom around the corner. That was awkward. But the food, dude, the worst part is my wife beat me on the restaurant pick.
Nice.
Yeah, which is even better. But
your wife beats you all the time.
Yeah. Come on, we're barely even in a minute in, and you're making it dirty, bro.
Right. So we've got a pretty good rundown tonight. We've been talking about this rundown actually for a little while. We're I don't know if it's going to be the show episode, but this is tentatively been called the Taking It Back episode. We're going to kind of go through some things that we haven't gone through in a while. Namely, we're going to do some would you rathers. We're gonna kind of knock it back a little bit and do some B.Ex.O. We're also going to have another everlasting segment, and then we're gonna do a recasting this week too, my man.
Of one of our favorite movies ever, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So this kind of, before we actually get into it, it kind of reminds me though, Taking It Back, we reminisce a lot on our podcast. We talk about things like when we were young, things when we were little, things we did when we were adolescents. What would be the generation that you would actually want to grow up in? Like decade. Give me a decade that you would want to grow up in.
The age I am, or like you mean a kid, an adolescent?
Just adolescent. You can go to any decade. What decade would it be?
I would have been born 5 years earlier, I think. I was happy being born in 85, but I would have liked to live through the 80s, essentially.
Okay. You wanted to be a kid in the 80s, basically.
Yeah, be a little bit more into it, because, I was hitting it at the tail end, and, I had an older sister, but also me and you, B-Word, grew up around a lot of older people.
Yeah.
We had older friends. So, I had a funny story one time where I was rapping, and really, I was following along with a Tupac song, sort of like Behind the Curtain earlier we were before the show in the green room, and it was the same song. It was funny, and my brother's girlfriend at the time goes, "Why are you into such old shit, Jake?" And I'm thinking, it's not old, but I get it's older than my generation technically.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I would go with that. I hate hippies. I don't want the 70s. I would love, I idolize and think the 20s and 30s are great, but there's the Depression and all the other stuff. And sensualization's a thing in media. We talk a lot about media, movies and stuff, and making things seem amazing. It's sort of like the argument when I say people like go, oh, I would love to live in the Renaissance festivals and all that. No, you don't, dude. No, you don't. Shut up. There's plague. There's no indoor plumbing. There's no lighting. Everything is cold, dark, sneaky, and dank. And you're fucking going to die. Like remember Oregon Trail? You're going to die of dysanthropia or whatever it is.
It's dysentery, but yes.
Whatever. That thing.
Dysanthropia.
Yeah, whatever. What about you, B-Word?
I think I agree with you, actually. There's a lot of the 80s that I didn't get to experience firsthand, that I get to experience through media, through television, through music, and I think that's a really cool era to have been a kid. I like that we deal with a lot of technology that we do today, specifically I can sit here and visit with you for the next hour through internet and whatever, but there was a lot of luxuries without technology, and I think that there's a lot that we miss in society now.
Well, as we talked about on an old episode, I mean, we feel, and not just because we're part of it, but the best generation of the most advancements in the smallest amount of time, and also having the just deal with the old stuff like not having MapQuest or GPS or any of that, right? And learning, but then also we got to do both. We knew how to use a rotary phone, but we also know how to use a cell phone.
But we also learned a lot of social skills. I mean, that you don't get to learn today. I actually watched this movie Jexy the other night. Have you seen Jexy?
Never even heard of that movie.
So it was recommended for me to watch, and so it's basically a movie on Netflix that this guy has to replace his phone. I think it's an iPhone that he replaces, and he's got the newest technology, and Jexy is the newest technology. All of a sudden, this phone becomes desperately falls in love with its owner.
Yeah,
it's your kind of movie, but but it is kind of a chick flick, kind of a
my kind of movie.
Yeah, it's not some sort of thriller or anything, but I mean, for what it was good. But it just kind of reminded me how dependent we are on technology, and I think that's kind of the message, the overall message that the movie was telling us. So, with that, man, let's get into some Would You Rather's 80s edition. How about that?
So the funny thing was you actually took my first one. It was, would you rather be born in 1980 or 1989? So the beginning or the tail end of the 80s. We answered that. So I'm going to skip to another quick, easy one, I think.
Okay.
Would you rather be a pop star and like music videos, and it could be butt rock, it could be glam rock, it could be, Bon Jovi. You can do whatever you want, right?
Okay.
A pop star, rock star, or an 80s movie star?
Oh, 80s movie star, 100%.
Why is that?
Because most of the movies in the 80s had to do with very bad graphics, so I wouldn't have to try to deal with anything or try to be something that I'm not. But then other than that, I mean, the 80s were the action decade, right? There was a bunch of action movies, bad acting. I'd fit right into that.
I can see that. I wrote out the question and I was thinking, I know my answer and I know I'm going to go movie star, but then I think I love 80s movies. Don't get me wrong. I think it's one of the greatest movies decades ever. But I also find it funny because they made movies about janitors and cocktail and just stupid things that made them so over the top avant-garde, and not in the sense of Joe Dirt, where it's just slapstick ridiculous. It was trying to be fucking serious though. It was trying to be a dramedy, romance, comedy, everything all in one. Well, which is funny they pulled it off, but
look at Roadhouse. I mean, that's an
exactly
all-in-one,
what I was
right?
thinking.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right.
All right. So, would you rather only drink Squeeze-Its or only eat Nerds?
Only eat Nerds.
Why?
I'm not. I used to drink calories. I don't really like Squeeze-It. I don't like the bottle.
Okay.
I don't like the way it feels against my mouth. I don't like opening it. Nothing about it is fucking appealing or pleasing, okay? Just like juice boxes. I'm just a friggin' giant ape when it comes to that type of stuff. Unless it's a glass bottle or a can, I'm not going to do it. Nerds, I don't know. I don't mind Nerds. I think also because I could mix them in yogurt. There's a lot more I could do with that. I can't do stuff with a Squeeze-It. I can't pour it in mac and cheese and go, I'm going to make blue mac and cheese today like some creative asshole on TikTok, right? What about you?
I think I would only eat Nerds just because the Squeeze-It bottle is kind of weird. You can't get the last little bit out of a Squeeze-It bottle, and it really just drives me nuts.
Oh yeah, those little drops that are in there. All right, what color Squeeze-It do you like the best?
The red one, whatever the red one is.
See, I'm orange everything. So
I know, except for actual oranges. You're not actual oranges. What's your favorite color in Nerds?
I don't know.
You don't care?
I don't care. They all taste the same, dude. It's just it's a little boulder of fucking sugar.
Right.
Like, yeah, they have an outside coating that sometimes tastes. It's like chewing fruit stripe gum. You taste it for 2 seconds, and then you just get a sugar hit. So,
right.
Yeah, I mean, if I buy them, I try to buy the cherry limeade, I guess, but I haven't bought Nerds in years. So,
yeah. Okay. All right.
Would you rather star in The Karate Kid, but you will be typecast forever and age sort of like Ralph Macchio does, right? So you never like look like an older than a prepubescent whatever. So good luck at the clubs. Or you're cast in a shitty film, Mac and Me, and you have to drink Pepsi for the rest of your life. That's it.
So no water, no milk, no just Pepsi.
You're just like the aliens in the movie. You're just drinking Pepsi.
We go with Ralph Macchio.
You want to look like that?
Yep. Yeah, and I think Ralph Macchio, like you said, he hasn't really changed. I mean, you could tell he's gotten older, right? But he hasn't really changed. But he got a career on the back end, right, with Cobra Kai.
Yeah, just off the same shit. It's the
same shit, but it's still filling his wallet. But I think he's one of the best guests in Entourage.
No, Bob Saget, dude.
No, Bob Saget is the best.
And then, what's his fucking name from Big Bang Theory? The main guy, I can't remember his name. Where he's a douchey boyfriend. I think it's like season 6.
Wait, no, you're thinking of Seth Green.
No, I'm not thinking of Seth Green. I'm thinking of the main character from Big Bang Theory. He was in it.
So he was the Roseanne's daughter's boyfriend. That guy.
Yeah, Johnny Gellick, who plays Leonard. Yeah, he was in Entourage too, and he's a total douche. He's got slick back hair and glasses. It's like a late season where he's wearing a hoodie.
Whose boyfriend was he?
I can't remember, dude, but I just know he was like the biggest fucking tool. It was a great fucking episode because it was one of those things I actually like believed his acting, that he was actually a tool like that. And then I found out later Entourage made when the people would guess, they would act like the biggest asshole on the planet.
Okay. So would you rather be at the start of Hulkamania? Okay, so you're a kid at the start of Hulkamania. Or would you rather collect Garbage Pail Kids cards?
Start of Hulkamania.
Why?
I don't care about Garbage Pail.
You don't like the Garbage Pail
Kids?
No,
I never got into it. It wasn't my thing.
Oh, okay, all right.
I was a Ninja Turtle guy. That's all I needed in my life. You remember that.
All right.
When I like something, I'm all about that. All right. Would you bang Howard the Duck or Harry from Harry and the Hendersons?
Harry from Harry and the Hendersons.
100%. All right. I totally regret asking this because I knew as soon as I wrote it, I was trying to get 2 characters. Like, everybody's just going to say Duck. And so I'm fucked. But
it's because you would have already been with Howard the Duck. And there's no way that I can go past you.
That's true.
Yeah. Harry and the Hendersons, at least I can separate
the hair. No, dude, because I would have let you done it, but I would have just told you sloppy seconds all day. Quack, quack, quack.
And also, Howard is my last name. So that's, It
would have been Howard on Howard Action, dude.
I know. It would have been Howard squared.
When you when you clap a duck's cheeks, do you think it sounds like their feet waddling on the floor?
No, I think it sounds like you're the little puddles on the ground when you get out of the shower. It sounds like you're slapping that. It's nasty, dude. Absolutely nasty. Oh. All right, so that was your third one, right?
Oh, I think I'm flying through them, so I don't know.
So would you rather have a Sony Walkman,
okay,
or have a boombox?
Sony Walkman. I think it's obnoxious when people have music out loud unless you're in a big group party. I hated it when they were walking around. I hate kids that wear the backpacks with speakers in it. I hate people on speakerphone. I hate people that listen to stuff on public transit. Not that I ever take it because that's fucking gross, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, but you're in Portland, dude, or outside of Portland.
In my fucking ears. It's my music. I need it in there when I want to listen to Celine Dion. Nobody needs to fucking know about it except one time in 7th grade on a band trip or a choir trip or whatever. James Coleman was sitting next to me and he heard me playing the Titanic song and decided to rip me the whole rest of the trip and tell everybody because he was sitting right next to me and he said, dude, you listen to that song a lot. I said, I don't have a lot of tapes on me.
It's par for the course, dude. Par for the course.
All right. Would you rather only star in Bill Cosby films?
Oh, shit.
And you're tied to his legacy forever. But you had a great career, right? But it's just you and Cosby. Like, you're like buddy cops, right? Whatever. You make all these movies with him. Or you get cast in a lot of movies, but only by the people that always casted Corey Feldman, if you know what I mean.
Oh, shit, dude.
I went down a deep, dark path for you.
Wow.
All Are you getting roofied or are you roofing people, essentially?
I think I'm going to be the distributor of roofies. And
oh, my God. That is a horrible answer.
I will
How dare
have to
you?
be with Bill Cosby. I'll have to be his number 2.
Oh, do you think... and there's no way to equate this, but...
There's no good answer to that.
No, there's
you're all
that's the whole
upset
point
at
of
my
Would You
answer,
Rather.
but
That's the best part. Oh, dude. Oh, you're a terrible person.
I know. All right, here's an easy one for you. Would you rather go to the arcade for the day or go to the roller rink?
Arcade. Fuck the roller. I can't roller skate. Rollerblades, I don't think were invented then. And I'd rather put quarters in a machine and play and show the high score. All right. Would you go to the past or the future in the DeLorean? Mind you, you have a 50% chance, whichever one you choose, that you end up dickless after the journey.
Oh, wow. Wow, that's a great question. I don't know that I want to move. Okay, so I'm going to end up dickless. That's
essentially.
That's
I mean, you're flipping
right?
a coin. Harvey Dent's going to decide your dick.
Okay, so there's a 50-50 chance. Okay, so then I'm going to go to the future. And the reason why I'm going to go to the future is because they potentially could have the technology.
We're in the same mindset right now.
Yeah,
we're mind melded because that's what when I wrote this, I was like, dude, they're going to make me a new dick. I'm getting a new dick made.
Well,
so it's all good.
It's like that, like the joke with the baby elephant trunk. Did I ever tell you that?
Yeah, dude, that was the first joke it used to tell me where you'd act it out and the peanuts in the ass. And I still tell that joke to this day. And I'll never forget because we were standing, I'm going to interrupt this. We were standing on my back porch with my dad, and you told that joke to my whole family in 3rd grade. It was awesome.
It's a phenomenal joke. All right, man, last one. Pretty easy. Would you rather wear parachute pants or a bright windbreaker?
Bright windbreaker. I already wear bright colors. I like bright colors. I hate wind. I don't like anything invisible that hits me in the face. So it'll help. Parachute pants, everything already feels tight in certain areas, so it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Not going to save me.
Fair enough. I had parachute pants, and I also had the bright windbreaker. I think the thing that I probably felt the most comfortable in was the parachute pants, only because I like to try to dance like MC Hammer, and I was never any good at it. So parachute pants is where it's at.
Okay.
So with that, man, let's talk about some B.Ex.O. So for our listeners who haven't participated or even haven't listened to a B.Ex.O. segment before, you want to take us through it, what it means?
So baby mama, ex-wife, and one night stand. Essentially fuck, marry, kill, but we are nicer here. Not to each other, but to the ladies out there because we do love you, as Eminem says at the end of the song. But yeah, B.Ex.O, we're going to do women born in the 80s. Now, I want to make sure I didn't fuck this up because that's what you wrote.
I said women in the 80s, not born in the 80s.
Let me read this again because I could have swore, or I'm that dumb, that you wrote women born... Actresses born in the 80s on the rundown.
Then I fucked it up.
And then here's the best part. I was prepared for you to fuck this up, but I'm not changing anything.
So fine, you don't change anything. So you're gonna get me on women born in the 80s, and I'm going to get you with famous women in the 80s, and I'm gonna fuck it up for you. Okay?
Fine.
What's your first one?
Anne Hathaway, Christina Ricci, or Amber Heard?
Okay, Amber Heard. Oh, fuck. Which one is equivalent to kill? Because that's going to be Amber Heard. So Anne Hathaway is going to be baby mama. I just think that she's got some probably some good values. She's got some life to go. Christina Ricci is going to be my ex-wife because I love Christina Ricci. Absolutely. And actually, thinking of it, I should probably switch those two. Anne Hathaway is going to be my ex-wife. That would mean that Amber Heard is going to be my one-night stand because, honestly, that's a really, hit it and get rid of it type of situation. I don't need anybody shitting the sheets.
Good answers. I think you're in the same order as me on that. So
okay. So, again, I apologize. I'm normally the organized one, and apparently I didn't even remember my shit, so here we go. Dolly Parton.
Okay.
Demi Moore.
Okay.
Or Heather Locklear.
Now, is this them in the 80s or is this them right now?
This is them in the 80s.
Okay. Demi Moore is going to be my ex-wife because Bruce Willis showed up, and she seems like she's got that crazy wifeness, hence why it hasn't worked out. Dolly Parton's one-night stand, just got to know.
Okay.
Got to bounce those around. What was the third one?
Heather Locklear.
Yeah, whatever. She's.
Do you know who Heather Locklear is?
I think so.
She
blonde?
She's blonde. She I think she was the wife of Tommy Lee before Pamela Anderson, if I remember correctly. She wasn't on 90210, but she was on whatever the sister show.
I know who Heather Locklear is. So yeah, it's a baby mama. We're gonna make good looking kids. We're gonna make some little blonde Swedish little meatballs.
I like it.
I'm cool with that.
I dig it.
All right, so Jessica Alba, I know your favorite.
Oh fuck yeah.
Drew Barrymore and Amelia Clark.
Ooh.
Right. I knew I'd throw you with that one because I gave you Alba, but I knew now you're going to have to go, damn it. Mind you, Alba comes with the herpes.
She does come with herpes. I don't know if she actually comes with herpes. Like, they're, maybe
I don't think you can come with herpes, can you?
It depends on how ribbed they are. I don't know.
Depends on how much you itch them?
Yeah, I suppose. Okay, so Alba's going to be ex-wife.
Because of the herpes?
Because of the herpes. Yeah, she got the herpes. Amelia Clark is going to be... Oh, goodness. She's going to be one night stand, I think, because I need to know. I think I just need to know on that one. What was the third one?
Drew Barrymore.
Oh, Drew Barrymore's baby mama. Yeah, I'm fine with that. You're fine with that? Are you going for the money thing, or are you going for the just actually cool? Like, you think I just think that she would be a cool, like, co-parent. Like, I just think that she would be somebody who would be cool to raise kids with.
All right.
So this one's for you. So we're going to go with Winona Ryder, Farrah Fawcett, or Katie Seagal.
Why? This all sucks.
Oh, you just wait, buddy.
Well, we've done Winona Ryder before, and I think I said she was my ex-wife because I can't stand her.
We have not done Farrah Fawcett or Katie Seagal, which is why I added
Baby
those
Mama's Farrah Fawcett, and because good-looking Swedish meatball babies, and then One Night Stand is
Katie Seagal.
Seagal, yeah.
Wow,
dude, no, that's a decent one because it's a decent one night stand where you're just at
Peg Bundy. Oh yeah, dude, of course.
Yeah, you're in and out of there because it's like that's a bar night, dude. That's one of those nights where it should have never happened, but it happened.
Right.
And you tell your friends about it, and nobody believes you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Good with that.
All right, Misha Barton.
Okay.
Camilla Bell or Emily Blunt.
So Emily Blunt is going to be baby mama, for sure.
Okay, that's a hot lady.
Yeah. Okay, Camilla Bell. Camilla Bell's one night stand.
Okay, she's good looking.
She's hot, but I don't see anything out of that. And what was the first one?
Misha Barton from the OC.
Oh.
Yeah, that twig. Like, I don't need another twig to have my twig start a fire.
Okay, so she's ex-wife.
She's your ex-wife. I mean, that makes sense. Look at the face you're making. You don't want to be. You don't want to hang out with your ex-wife.
No.
I think we treat like the ex-wife on here like, oh, we're gonna be best friends. We're still gonna hang out because we were married once. No, dude, I'm gonna hate this person. I'm gonna absolutely hate this person.
Okay. Kelly McGillis.
Mm-hmm.
She's Charlie off of
I know.
Top Gun.
I'm a big fan of that.
Madonna.
Pointy boobs. Okay.
Felicia Rashad.
Rashad.
Mrs. Cosby.
Oh, I'm totally one night standing Mrs. Cosby. Dude, all right. Let me just give you a little hint of how my B.Ex.Os go in my brain. Whenever you throw something out there that I probably never have, or I just need to know, or you're like, everybody's like, oh no, hell no, like Rosie O'Donnell. No, I'm banging that. I'm totally going for it. I'm gonna test it out, see how it goes. Because I bet that's the type of chick that I'm gonna be sitting there and she's gonna start licking my rusty sheriff's badge, and I'm not gonna know what's happening. Like, you ever heard that MGK song where his friends talking about getting his asshole eaten out, or it's a Yellow Wolf song, and he's like, and I was like, okay, like, that's me and her. I'm gonna guarantee you it's that type of moment. So okay, well, I went off on a tangent.
So the three again are Kelly McGillis.
Yeah, Kelly McGillis
Madonna.
is my baby mama, and Madonna's ex-wife. Can't. I know me and Madonna aren't gonna get along, so that's gonna end badly. That's that. Okay. That's that where we met at a party, and she married me and instantly hated me, like Russell Brand and Katy Perry, and I'm gone.
Okay, fair enough, dude. Fair enough.
All right, Hillary Duff.
Okay.
Alexandria Daddario.
Okay.
And Lacey Chabert.
Hillary Duff is going to be baby mama. Alexandria Daddario is going to be one night stand because I need to know. And whoever the third one is, that's just going to be the ex-wife. Okay. That's the process of elimination.
Okay.
Man, do I want to do this one or the next one? Fuck it, we're doing this one. Whoopi Goldberg. Cher.
Yeah, I've already answered Whoopi and Cher.
I know. Cher or Miss Piggy.
Miss Piggy's one night stand because I got to know. I got to see if my whole hand fits and everything else. I'm going to actually try all at once. It's going to be where it's like a whole out of body, in the body experience, if that makes sense. And I'm going to sing like Kermit, like, why are there rainbows? While I'm doing it. Hello there. Yeah.
Kermit the Frog here.
You sound like Yoda had a gay baby with Kermit. Kermit.
Oh my god, so good. So good.
Who else is on there? Cher and Whoopi. Whoopi is my baby mama. I want eyebrowless kids. And Cher's my ex-wife because I can't stand her. Dude, another secret. If you put some like diva princess pop star in there that's glued together, not going to be a fan. So she's out.
Fair enough.
All right. Carey Mulligan, Elizabeth Olsen, and Lizzie Chaplin.
Elizabeth Olsen is ex-wife. Well,
no, you're not going to be friends with her.
No, she's baby mama. She's baby mama, 100%. And here's where she's baby mama. I want her morning after Halloween in WandaVision. Straight up. She's still dressed up as a Scarlet Witch.
You think she's actually going to wear that outfit?
No, but I really hope that she would. I really hope that she would.
Okay.
Who are the other two?
Lizzie Chaplin and Carey Mulligan.
Lizzie Kaplan, you mean?
Kaplan, sorry.
Carey Mulligan's going to be one night stand.
Okay.
Lizzie Kaplan's going to be ex-wife. I just see Lizzie Kaplan as just like this raging bitch.
That's what I see too. When I saw her face, I was like, yeah, you're getting divorced there. Those are mine, dude. Those are my B.Ex.Os.
I was going to save the last one for last, but honestly, I had to pull the trigger on that one. So this one, I know we've done one of these before, but here we go. Molly Ringwald, Michelle Pfeiffer, or Julia Roberts.
Michelle Pfeiffer's ex-wife. Get her out of here. Molly Ringwald is a one night stand. And Julia Roberts is baby mama. I can see that actually going well.
Okay. All right. Well, with that, everybody, we'll be right back after a quick break.
Did you grow up with a lack of parental supervision?
Do you know all the lyrics to The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air?
Remember Mayor McCheese and the Fry Guys?
Have an inexplicable love for the California Raisins?
Can you remember Madonna's original phase?
Then you might be a part of the Doom generation.
Laugh until you cry with us each week as we stumble blindly through the memories of the movies
and other random things
that doomed us to be the salty, sarcastic, sardonic ladies you want to hang with.
You know us, you love us, you can't fucking live without us.
Doom Generation, available everywhere you find podcasts.
Welcome back to Bleach Bros. Thanks for listening to our advertisements there.
Spreaker Prime, baby.
Spreaker Prime is an awesome, awesome podcast platform, and we are not here to tout that, but I will tell you it is pretty cool if you do want to publish your podcast on a cool platform. So with that made us a little bit of money. And Jake, so I talked with you about this actually quite a bit over the last couple of months where we were talking about coming-of-age films. And I actually had to explain to you what a coming-of-age film was.
Yes, because you usually will say things like, Stand By Me, it's a coming-of-age film. It's like, whenever you describe movies or anything, you describe that, and then you bring up, what's that fucking show that I never watched that I should watch?
The Wonder Years.
The Wonder Years.
The Wonder Years.
That's about, okay.
Yeah. No, thank goodness we're not ranking TV shows because The Wonder Years would be up here. But I wanted to, as we're taking it back, talk about coming-of-age films. So coming-of-age films, for those who don't know, are films that basically have the main characters go through some sort of situation where they end up growing up through the storyline. So with this, Jake, I've got a top 5 for our Everlasting Movie Reel Coming-of-Age edition. And then I also have 3 honorable mentions. How many do you have?
I actually have 3 honorable mentions because I had 2, and then I went, there's one I'll throw on there. Just it was a movie I watched a lot.
Okay.
It wouldn't make my top 5, but that's the reason it's there.
Okay. And are yours in order?
Always. Always
Okay.
in order. Even
Mine
my
are-
honorable mentions are in order.
Same here this week, so we can get along. So let's go with your honorable mentions. Let's start with yours.
First one is Can't Hardly Wait.
Okay.
Loved that film. I was a bigger fan. I love American Pie, don't get me wrong. But I put that Can't Hardly Wait in there because that was the one I'd watch all the time. Had a huge crush on Jennifer Love Hewitt.
Yeah.
I related to Seth Green. I don't know why. Whenever I saw that scene, it reminded me of my first sex experience with condoms and how it smells like burnt rubber if you're pounding too fast. That's not a joke. That is true. And I just imagine that bathroom smelled like burnt rubber. But I just love that movie. I don't know. There was something about it. I liked it. I could watch it a lot. The soundtrack was great. All the characters were great. Everything meshed well. It was the perfect movie for our high school graduating class.
Yeah, I like that movie. It didn't make my list of either the top or the honorable mentions. So my bottom honorable mention, so I'm going 3-1. I don't know if you went in a specific order.
I am too.
As Stephen King's It. This would be the 1980s mini or 1990s miniseries.
The only one you watched, yeah.
The only one I
first
watched.
video.
The very first video. And this one I thought was really cool because you have all of these kids that have all these different backgrounds, all these different trials. And they come together and they fight that fucking clown. But the kids actually age to adults in the second movie, which I didn't know until 5 years later, but that's a whole other story. So Stephen King's It is my number 3. It is an honorable mention because I really classify that as a horror film, not necessarily a coming-of-age film, but I did want to include that for honorable mentions.
That's good, yeah. No, my next one was known in the independent circuit at the time, and it's the movie 13.
I've heard about that. I've never watched it.
Great flick. I'll tell you right now, too, especially having a daughter, being a girl dad, you'll appreciate it. Growing up in the type of town we grew up in, it makes sense. The cool part is that I believe, and I could be wrong, but how it was explained to me, the girls that are in the movie helped write it, which was good because it was from their perspective. Okay. Sort of like how, Superbad or something was written by younger guys, like in junior high, and it makes sense because of where they're going. But 13, a great film. Great film for what it is. It can't make the top 5 because is it the greatest film ever? No. But does it do the job? Does it showcase youth and the problems you can have and trying to grow up and figure certain things out? Yeah. So good film.
My number 2 of honorable mentions is The Breakfast Club. I include The Breakfast Club because it is a coming-of-age film. It's primarily set in the late 80s. It's an honorable mention because I like the film. I think it's a great film. But I don't relate to it as much as I do my top 5, specifically just because of the genre that it's in. Breakfast Club is worth the watch, I will tell you. It is kind of a cult film now, but yeah.
Okay, yeah, my daughter, the sad thing is my 13-year-old daughter tells me to watch this movie.
Yeah, it's not bad.
She's like, Dad, go watch Breakfast Club. I'm like, I've never seen it. And the only Breakfast Club I know of is the one that was on the morning shows.
Oh, yeah.
On the radio, so that's what I always related it to. But no, okay, I could see that. I mean, people have touted a lot of Raleigh Ringwald 80s films. There's a reason they're cult classics now, right? And they were also hits then. My next one's a newer film, and it brought me, when it came out, it brought me back to being a kid and having that awe and splendor of like these types of films, and it's Super 8.
Oh, I like that one.
I thought Super 8 was incredible. It reminds me if you took E.T. now, The Iron Giant, and Stranger Things, and you sort of had them all mixed together. That's sort of the film you get. It ended sort of okay. I didn't really love the alien creature and stuff. It was almost like E.T., almost like Cloverfield. It had a lot of nuance and wonder, but it was also cool just seeing these kids get together.
Right.
Again, it's on here because I can watch that movie a lot. And when it came out, it just reminded me of the movies I fell in love with. It wasn't a movie I fell in love with and said, oh, this is so great. But it brings me back to wanting to watch those with my friends. And I know I show this movie to my kids being like, this will probably be like your sort of generations, or like how my daughter's so in love with Stranger Things. Right. Something that you grew up with that you'll remember watching. So that would be my 3rd honorable mention.
Okay. My final honorable mention is Now and Then. It's a chick film.
Christina Ricci tapes her boobs, right?
Yep, Rosie O'Donnell, Christina Ricci. I thought it was a really good cast, how they took it from, the girls at the age that they were, and then they transitioned it to the adults, and kind of back and forth. There were storylines on both sides that ended up meeting at the end, and it just... the reason why it's an honorable mention, I think if I was female, this would probably be a lot higher on the list because it's something that I can relate to a little bit more. But I do think that it's a great film. I would recommend people to watch now and then, but that's going to be the end of my honorable mentions. With that, dude, do you mind if I just start into my top 5? Okay, so my top 5 is actually going to be, so my number 5 is going to be Boys in the Hood with Cuba Gooding Jr. I thought that was a great film, amazing actors in that one. I think it did a very good job illustrating the struggle of that part of society. I think it was the issues that they had to deal with were severe. There was a lot of cultural impact to it, a lot of educational impact to it, and I just thought that was done very, very well.
Amazing film. I love it. I didn't watch it until I was out of my first stint at college, so it wasn't something that really stuck with me. Relatability too, but it's a great film. And I know when I was going through the list, because we do the research we know we've watched a lot of we watch all the films on here, but you know what I mean? Like, you're like, oh, what films am I maybe missing that I'm not thinking of at the moment? Because you don't want to just throw everything you think of, because, I could throw Fatty Tiger or Skinny Tiger, Fatty Dragon on there because it's in my brain right now, right? And that doesn't work. Boys in the Hoods is a great film, but like I said, I couldn't put it on mine, but I could see why you do. And I know you watch those types of films a lot earlier than I did.
Yep.
But mine's an older film and it's Big.
Oh, I like Hanks. Big. That's a good one.
And the reason is that was my first introduction to Tom Hanks. But it was also, I don't know, it was my first introduction as a kid to a real drama that had consequence.
Okay.
Also I thought it was awesome to, if I mean, I'll admit this, when I was 8 going, man, I wish I could turn into a giant man right now and go have sex with a woman. I think that would be freaking awesome. When that happened in that movie, I think that's great. When they're just sitting, but also like seeing him like when he's crying in the hotel room.
Yeah.
Because he's alone.
He did a phenomenal job with that.
Great
a
phenomenal
acting. Job with that.
The piano scene, all that. There's so much in that movie that's relatable and fun. And it was a movie I grew up with. I still watch to this day. And so, like I said, it's one of the ones I've always remembered. And I could always go back to it. So it's my number 5.
My number 4 is American Pie. Mm-hmm. So American Pie ranks pretty high for me. Obviously, this one, American Pie was the age that we were at when we first really started hanging out. I mean, we've known each other for a long time, but we really became close in high school. Like that's really where it was. And American Pie was one of those films that I remember us watching. We watched American Pie. We watched the sequels. But more importantly than that, American Pie does have that coming of age aspect. It also has the coming of age aspect, if we're talking, if you know what I'm talking about. But I thought it was a good film. I thought the character development, ironically, was actually done very, very well in this film, as opposed to other teen comedies where there's so many characters. So yeah, number 4 is American Pie.
That's a good one. My number 4 is sort of in the same sense of this. It's Superbad.
Okay.
I love Superbad. It's not higher on my list because it's not something I could watch all the damn time. But it's me and you, essentially. And that was us in high school. Yep. I was Michael Cera. I was a dork. I really didn't know what I was doing. Girls always wanted to talk to me. You're over there telling me to go stare at their warlocks and stop being a loser and get stuff. And, we had a few Fogels as our friends sometimes that would hang around like Poochie,
shout out to Bleach Bro Mitch.
Yep. But no, it's just it is me and you. Like we had moments like that where they're laying on the floor at the end of the night going poop on each other's nose, like right next to each other. We'd crash on each other's beds and just hang out and talk about what chicks we made out with or whatever, or me lack of. Great film though, because it's like I said, the cool thing was it was written by them when they were young.
Yep.
You could see that, but it's so quotable and funny.
Such a good film. Such a good film. And it's actually my number 3. So yeah, we're damn near on the same page with that film. Number 3 is Superbad for me for all the same reasons you talked about. I think part of this is the quotes, right? Like I think when you're talking about movies that really made an impact for you, the quotes are what you remember. Like I still remember Jonah Hill's character when he's talking about the best kinds. Like, you know how many foods are in the shape of dicks? The best kinds. And I say the best kinds after everything now. Nobody fucking understands me. So, yeah, that's my number 3. So, what's your number 3?
Number 3 for me is Secondhand Lions.
Oh, I didn't even think to put that on the fucking list. That's so good.
The reason is it's essentially it's an important movie to watch in the sense of, I think, what Lost Manhood is, if that makes sense, and not trying to be, go down the toxic route or sense, but like just the bar scene where he's talking about like the old guy gets in a fight and he's like, I've loved one woman, one country, he goes on this speech, but just teaching him how to be a boy, growing into a sort of a man, the journeys, the stories, the good times. It's almost in the essence of like the movie Big Fish, but without the avant-garde like craziness of like too over the top. Like there are some stories like really and the gold and all that, but just a great film.
I like that.
And I can watch that. That's one I've watched more often lately, being a family dad and like and that I can show to my kids. I mean, I can't show them Superbad right now, so it's just it goes up there high for me.
Okay. Well, my number 2 is going to be Dirty Dancing.
Okay.
So Dirty Dancing goes into that. It goes into a few categories here for me. So I realize I talked about Now and Then where I couldn't really like understand that. But Dirty Dancing hits a different vein for me because it was a movie that not only did I grow up on, but it has that coming of age feel. But the soundtrack is incredible. The acting's good. It's quotable. Nobody puts baby in a corner. So that hits my categories right there. Like all of the categories that I would rank, Dirty Dancing's on there. It's an incredible film. I mean, I could watch it anytime it's on. So I'm all about that.
My next one is one of my favorite movies of all time. I own every version that has came out of it. I own a movie script copy of it. One of my favorite actors is in it. It's Donnie Darko.
Okay.
Great soundtrack. And the funny thing is if you watch the director's cut, I don't know if you ever have, the songs are different. Everything's different about it. When it came out, you had to, if you knew about the movie, you wanted to find out more, it was sort of like Cloverfield and stuff at first. The website, you had to know things about the movie to get past to the next page to learn more about the movie. So like you had to know the counselor. Is it Patrick Swayze? I could be wrong on that. I always mixed him and somebody else up. But anyways, you had to know his address off of his ID that they briefly flash in the film to get onto the next page. So, but it doesn't, like I said, it's a coming of age film. Yeah, it's Patrick Swayze. He's in it. Jake Gyllenhaal does a great job. It's cool that him and his sister are both in the movie. It was cool. It was independent. It's weird. I love him talking to the bunny and everything. Everybody knows me knows this is one of my favorite films of all time. But it's also growing up youth in a different limelight. Like in the sense of being an outcast and how you deal with that and how you deal with certain pressures or dating a girl and having to deal with those awkward conversations walking home and stuff. And I just really liked that film. Seeing how society's changing, like how they're talking about like banning books in school and stuff, and like how important the election was in the 90s. Not that elections aren't important, but I don't know. It's a movie that hits a lot of spots for me. And I also think it's one of those ones that's not really, you can see why it's in this genre, but you don't think of it first. Sort of like you were saying it with horror. Yeah. But it hits on all those things growing up through high school. So it's my number 2.
I think that's a good choice. Not one that I would have thought to put on the list. I see exactly why you put it on there. So the one that I wanted to be able to put on the list, but I didn't, is Mask, the Rocky Dennis story. Yeah. And the reason why is because he dies. I just, you can come of age, but hey, you're dead, right? So I didn't really want to put that on the list, but I think that if I were to do this without that being a caveat, Mask would have been number 1. Instead, for me, The Sandlot is number 1. The Sandlot is a great, excellent film. Great relationships between all the kids, the trials that they have over the summer. I think that every adult who watches The Sandlot, whether they've seen it as a kid or not, can relate to it and dream of summers where they've spent that with their friends. So The Sandlot's number 1.
We have the same movie.
I dig it.
This was hard for me to choose between Goonies and The Sandlot, to be honest.
Right.
But at the end of the day, The Goonies is an adventure of, one day. The Sandlot's a journey through time, if that makes more sense, and that's why I rank it higher. Goonies is I will say, I'll stand by, it's one of my favorite movies of all time as well. But The Sandlot's there because baseball is very important to me.
Yeah.
Every character was different. Seeing them all like get along, and the stories and the quotability, and S'mores and Winnie Peppercorn and the dog. I mean, it's just a great fucking flick. I watched it the other night with we had a family movie night, and watching my 13-year-old quote the whole movie was hilarious.
So
to me.
good. So
that
good.
she knows all of it, and it's one of those movies that it stands up to test of time.
So for those of you that are still listening, you realize that most of the time we end on an everlasting segment. However, tonight we are going to extend this. This episode might go over a little bit, but I don't think that you're really going to care. I don't think that you're really going to matter. If you're a fan of the show, you're probably going to enjoy this. But for the final act of our podcast today, we wanted to do a casting. Now, we don't have somebody in here to judge the casting, so we're going to need some feedback from our listeners. After you listen to the show, I want you to go and comment on one of our threads. Let us know who wins the casting, okay? We are going to cast Top Gun, 1986, and we're going to cast it with actors of today. Now, because I've fucked this up already tonight, that is what we talked about, right, Jake?
That is, and you also won't fuck it up like our buddies over at the Happy Hour podcast, and we're not going to start out the gate with Maverick and Goose.
Correct.
We will let them hang on a bit. It might be in the middle or at the end. No offense, Mike and Tabs, but we are 2-0 for a reason. We do it in order.
That's right. So I've kind of controlled the outcome of where we're going with these. So Jake, tell me which characters we're going to start with. Tell me who I'm going to give you a cast member first, or who you're going to tell me the cast member first.
Let's start with. I want to start with Air Boss Johnson.
Okay.
The guy who gets the coffee spilled on him for Buzz and Tower and goes, "I want some butts. Give me some butts." One of my favorite scenes in that movie. And do you want me to give you my casting right now?
I want to hear yours because I struggled with this one a little bit.
J.K. Simmons. I think J.K. Simmons yelling at them in the room, because it's a quick scene, right? All he has to do is yell, "Give me some butts," get some coffee spilled on him, pissed off. And he could spill coffee on him where he's pissed off, but he could also spill on him in a way where he looks down and you could tell he's so fucking fuming, but he can like make it like a thespian, but then come out and yell at them. And that was my pick for Air Boss Johnson.
So you'll notice this with with my picks. I tried not to go too old because we are talking people in the military. So basically the oldest that I went was, I think, mid-50s. And J.K. Simmons would have been way out of my age range there. But I have Air Boss Johnson as Colin Hanks, Tom Hanks' son. Yeah. He's got a punchable face. He is just, he is the equivalent of a white person puto. But if you've seen like Ferrari or Ford versus Ferrari, I believe he was in that. He's been in several movies where he's just been this punchable face character, and I think that he can kind of take some of his dad's enunciation and go with, "I want some butts, I want them now," blah blah blah, and I think he could do it. So Colin Hanks is my Air Boss Johnson.
Okay, I could see that. I see. I'm going with the type of job he has. He can be old, but I can see the punchable face thing. But also the character to me is like just funny. He's not somebody that's like a total douchebag that I want to punch.
Right.
That's coming later with like Iceman and stuff. You pick the next one.
So Stinger. So Stinger was in the first movie. This is if you've seen Back to the Future. This is Mr. Strickland, the teacher, the bald guy. So who did you choose for Stinger?
Dean Norris, who played Hank in Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
Bald, angry, sits there, great talk, has the demeanor of military, played a lot of cops. I think he could tell them that they are going to ship rubber dog shit to Hong Kong. And I believe him. And I believe he could be a captain. And that was my pick. And I love Breaking Bad. I know you do. You got stuff hanging behind you about it. But I thought, and I'm surprised you didn't pick him because I thought we'd be on the same page with that one.
No, that's actually good. So I did a diversity pick here because I do think that as we're talking about some of the characters here, if we're talking about casting as of today, we're going to see a lot more than just white people on the screen.
Exactly.
So for Stinger, I went with Kenneth Choi.
Okay.
So Kenneth Choi, he's a comedian, but he's also a dramatic actor. For those Marvel fun people, he was actually in Captain America's Brood in the very first movie. He is I think he's the principal in Spider-Man No Way Home, or whatever that Spider-Man, whatever maybe the gym teacher or something like that. I just think that he could pull off the angry leader, but also have that personability there where it would actually be a good pick. So
okay, I can see that. No, and I did think the diversity route, but then I went the route, and I'll just admit this, I went the route of I go for looks because I think that goes a long way with people. When you see this, it's sort of like when you cast comic books. I mean, it does help.
Right.
Also, I was trying to relate them to the same character. So like Dean Norris, like I said, it's almost like you can interchange them in my opinion. And I mean, that's my casting, but you could put that bald guy in there who's angry, military-esque for this bald guy, right?
Right.
And so that's where I was at.
Of course.
Next one is Carol.
So Goose's wife.
Goose's wife.
Okay.
My pick is a selfish pick for myself.
Okay.
It's Scarlett Johansson. And the reason is, I just need her in the movie so I could stare at her for a minute. I don't really care. She could laugh and shake herself and have some fun singing Great Balls of Fire. And I'm mainly putting her in the movie just so I get some screen time with her. That's it.
Fair enough. I'm not ashamed of having Scarlett in the movie, so we're good there. Yeah. Goose's wife, I went with Eliza Gonzalez. I don't know if that's how you pronounce her first name or if it's Eliza. She was in, if you ever saw the movie with Adam Sandler where he's the jeweler. Oh shit.
The one where he's the guy,
the gambler. He's a
a
degenerate. It's his girlfriend.
Okay.
And I just think that she would be a really good side character in the film. She's primarily been side characters in her acting career. She's very pretty. She is, I think, for the roles that she's acted in, she's done a very good job. And I think that it's one of those things that she can actually bring some emotion to the role. So I went with her.
Okay, that's a good pick. She's very attractive.
Yep,
I could see that. I will say this, and I'm not trying to pull this one out fast, but it also depends on who she's with as Goose.
Yes.
I think that matters.
Yes.
But we can hold Goose off for a little bit.
We're gonna hold Goose for a while. Okay. We're gonna hold Goose for a while. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna throw you Cougar. So Cougar was the pilot that Maverick ended up replacing. His Rio was Merlin, who ended up being Maverick's Rio at the end of the movie. So who do you have for Cougar?
Channing Tatum. He's a bitch. He can cry good on screen. Nobody wants him there.
That's a good pick.
He's in and out of the movie. That's the whole reason. Every time I see a Channing Tatum film, and you can describe it to fans, I hold my ears out and I go, where are we? You know, and
it's Jeff.
Yes, he cries. He does that. I could see, but he looks military, right? He can pull it off. And I'm not saying he's a bad actor. I actually like Channing Tatum films, but
you like Magic Mike. Let's stop it.
I don't care. Dog was great. I'll say that, but I just don't need him in this film. And I could just see him, like, I'm going to star-stud this cast, but not everybody's going to be in the whole damn thing. Like, I want it to just be, like, in and out. He's gone.
Okay. Fair enough. So my Cougar is Lucas Black. Lucas Black was in Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift. He was the main character in that, the little country boy. I think that he's got the look of Cougar where he can pull off the emotion looking at the picture of the wife and not being able to land the plane. He has kind of that military build. He's a little older for the role than I think I would have wanted, but Lucas Black, I think, could pull it off. So that's my guy.
That's a good pick. I actually really like that pick. He's got the appeal. He's got the look. Not too big of a role, not too big of an actor. Yeah, he could do that very well. So we're doing good so far.
Yeah, no, I like these picks.
So Merlin, then, since we just went with Cougar, we'll go with his wingman.
Fantastic. So I had one person. So behind the scenes, I have like 4 different castings for Top Gun. I've been struggling primarily with like a couple of the lead actors, a couple of the other actors, and this actor has been my Merlin since the start. It is Jack Quaid. Jack Quaid is in... oh God, what's the superhero thing on Amazon? Why am I losing it? The Boys. The Boys. He's the goofy looking guy with the curly hair in The Boys. He's the boyfriend of Starlight. I think that not only does he have the height to pull off Goose compared to my actor, but he's also got that goofiness. And as we're talking about, the potential of matching him with my Maverick, we're saying Merlin. Did I say Goose?
Yes.
Oh, so I'm sorry. I meant
Goose
Merlin.
And he can match Maverick.
I meant Merlin because sorry, that's my fault. I meant Merlin because the actor who originally played Merlin, I forget what his name is, super tall dude. Super tall dude.
Okay.
That Susan Sarandon's ex-husband, whatever his name is. But no, I have an entirely different Goose. But Jack Quaid is my Merlin.
Okay, so now that you've confused the fan base, thank you very much, and myself.
Jack Quaid is Merlin.
Okay, good. William Poulter. The reason is Goofy. Doesn't need a big role. He's getting jacked for
getting yoked
to play. What is it? Adam, right? Adam Warlock.
Adam Warlock.
He doesn't need a speaking role. He can sit in the back, and he's great at facial expressions. So when they're doing those Charlie scenes or whatever, he's in the back of the plane talking to Cougar. I think he would pull that off well with a mask.
You're gonna do what?
Yeah, William Poulter's my Merlin, not my Goose. Merlin.
All right.
Okay.
Well, with that, so I just want to kind of reset. We've done Air Boss Johnson. We've done Carol, or Goose's wife. We've done Stinger. We've done Merlin and Cougar. So I'm going to throw you Sundown.
Don Cheadle. Easy pick.
Old, bro.
I don't care. Easy pick. Get him some Just for Men. Just have him yell at or Maverick when they're walking down the runway.
No.
I don't need him in a lot of scenes. Don Cheadle's great. I think he's going to pull it off. And dude, black don't crack. So shut up.
I mean, Michael B. Jordan. I mean, you have so many other options here.
I need a side B guy that's going to come in and
you
just
have a
go
side
off on
B
a guy.
60-year-old fuck.
That's fine. I want it. Give it to me.
Oh my god, dude. All right, so my Sundown is Tyler James Washington. You probably don't know who he is. My daughter watched this Disney special called Let It Shine. He was the main character in Let It Shine. He's a goofy looking guy, but as he's gotten older,
Tyler James Williams.
Sorry, Tyler James Williams. He's kind of a goofy looking guy, but as he's gotten older, he's kind of taken on this more sophisticated look, and so I think that this would be a good role for him to be that background character. But I think that he would do it very well, specifically when he's arguing with Maverick after the accident, and so Tyler James Williams is my guy.
Okay. I think we're going to be on totally different pages for that one, but let's go with Jester.
Oh, dude, same thing. So same thing with Jack Quaid. I had one person for Jester. One.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Not me. This was the hardest one for me.
John Bernthal.
Oh, fuck. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah. John Bernthal. 100% John Bernthal. The only character that I walked into this casting knowing I want John Bernthal's Jester. If you remember, as we were sending people back and forth, you're like, oh, well, let's cast this person, let's cast this person. I said we're casting Jester.
Yeah.
John Bernthal.
So you see him being a little older and teaching the guys a Top Gun and going off?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because
I
think that he can pull off a mid to late 40s, and I think that that's Jester's age.
I went for a totally punchable douchebag that I think's a good sidekick to my Viper. Billy Zane.
Oh,
from
see, a little
Titanic.
old for me.
The
I like
douchebag,
him.
but he I was watching some of his newer stuff, and I did some research, like listening to his voice and everything. He's bald now and everything, and I also went for that look, right? I went for that bald look, and like I said, I need him to be a number 2 to my Viper.
I think
I need him to be a smarmy dick.
I think the most punchable Billy Zane was in Tombstone when he was that actor.
Yeah.
I gotta be honest, man. I don't see it, but I like mine better. You can probably like yours better. That's totally fine.
Mm-hmm.
But so we went with Jester. So to reset the board here, that leaves us with Maverick and Goose, which I imagine we're going to do last. Mm-hmm. Iceman and Slider, Viper and Charlie,
and Wolfman.
Or are we doing Wolfman?
Oh, I have. Yeah, that's a throwaway one, but you can. I just have a guy in there.
So I'm just fantastic. So which one are you going with?
John Krasinski's Wolfman. Just cause, like I said, it's like the ScarJo. I just want him in a movie. I want him. He's in Jack Ryan. He's just walking by the studio. They're like, hey, come over here. All his buddies, they throw him in the film. He doesn't fucking matter. That's where I'm at with it.
All right. So I didn't cast a Wolfman because I didn't have it on my list, but let's go with Shia LaBeouf.
There you go. Oh, you know what's funny? My wife was trying to help me with this, and she goes, who's that really douchey, punchable dude? Who's that guy that sucks? And she's like, I'm sitting there like, who the hell is she talking about? She goes, you know, he's in Transformers. I was like, Shia LaBeouf. She goes, yeah, he could be like Iceman because you just want to kick the shit out of him.
He's not tall enough for Iceman,
but I was just saying, I don't see him. She goes, yeah, he doesn't have the look. She goes, but he's totally like, you just want to beat the shit out of him, don't you?
I dig it. All right, so you picked Wolfman, so I'm going to throw the next one at you. Okay. Let's go with Viper.
This was the one, I will say this, that I had to pick right out the gate, and I don't care what anybody says to me, but this was like how you're saying you just had somebody. Robert Downey Jr., I think would make an incredible Viper, especially my Billy Zane. He's just got the look. I can see him teaching people, especially watching him with Tom Holland as Spider-Man. I think he could do it.
Okay.
And I think it would be cool to watch him have a speech with my Maverick, like about like flying with his dad and whatever, right?
So I've got a similar one, and it's an actor you've already said. I've got Don Cheadle.
Fuck you! You want a 60-year-old?
Well, because Viper is older, bro.
I know.
Yeah, no, but I think that Don Cheadle has. I mean, we've seen Don Cheadle as a military person already, right? So it's one of those things where he's older and he's a generation older than Maverick, which is important to me. He has experience under his belt. He doesn't look non-military age. I mean, I know I gave you shit for him being Sundown, but he doesn't look non-military age. But I think that he can also impart wisdom in the same way that Viper did, Tom Skerritt's character. And I think that he would have a really good, I mean, as we get into some of these characters, I think that he'd be a good fit.
See, I think it's a great pick. I don't think it's a great pick with who your jester is, because I don't see those two meshing well together as almost partners teaching that class. That's the only problem I have with it. I don't, and that's the only problem I have with your pick there.
Okay,
because I like them both. I think they're both great. I think they both could play that role. I don't think if you put them on screen together it works, but that's me.
Okay.
Because I feel Don Cheadle would almost have to take a step back from John Bernthal, if that makes sense.
Fair enough. What's your next one?
Let's do Charlie.
Okay, ScarJo.
I knew you. Here's the best part. As I casted her as Goose, I'm like, Brian's gonna pick that because he loves himself some ScarJo.
Yeah, Well, so a couple things I wanted. I wanted a woman in her mid-30s, because Charlie's gonna have to be old enough to have been through life enough to be able to get security clearance, right? Right. So originally I thought Florence Pugh. And she's early 20s. She's just not going to roll with it. I think she'd be a great character. I just don't see her as Charlie. So ScarJo's my role. Who do you got?
Alice Eve.
Okay.
I think Alice Eve, same things. Blonde, in the age range I need, can get clearance, can hold the acting chops, super hot, want to see her in the sex scene. She
take your breath away.
Isn't afraid to show anything. So very has a great education and assets. Yep. So Alice Eve is my Charlie.
Well, I'm not disappointed in that. That's a good pick.
Right.
That's a good pick. So let's go with Slider.
So the cool part is Iceman and Slider go together.
Yep.
And I'll preface with this: who I picked for Slider plays in the same movie or another movie as my Iceman.
Okay.
And they're yin and yang, but I think they'll go together in this. And it's Sean Ferris. He was in Never Back Down. He was the main kid training for Taekwondo.
Okay.
He's really ripped. He's got the feel, the appeal. He's got the look. He's got the attitude of where I think he could be a douchebag and yell and go nuts, but also he could be the sidekick. Like, you know what I mean? Okay. He doesn't need to be the number one guy. He could just go in there, push somebody around, play a little bit of a dickbag, play some volleyball shirtless, and I could see him pulling that off.
Okay. No, I'm good with that. I do agree with you. I think that Iceman and Slider need to have that yin and yang a little bit, but they also need to be somewhat similar. My Slider is Alexander Ludwig. I think that so first off, he's got a little bit of the height. Okay. I think he's close to 6 feet, if not over 6 feet. And I think that he would be a really good number 2 to the antagonist, I guess is what you would call him in the movie. But Alexander Ludwig would for sure be Slider for me. Okay.
That's a good pick. So then your Iceman to your Slider is?
Liam Hemsworth.
That was almost a go-to pick for me, but I just don't see him being bad boy enough.
I think he could. I think especially when he does a little chomp at Maverick, the little smack in the teeth after are you dangerous? Like that little conversation. Mm-hmm. My only concern with some of these would be would be accents. So like I've heard that I heard Liam Hemsworth speak in an American accent, and that's important to me. So I did want to have him as Iceman. But candidly, my Goose casting was almost Iceman, and we can get into that. We can get into that soon.
So my Iceman is Cam Gigadent or Gigandent. He's in Never Back Down. He's the main guy that kicks the shit out of Sean Ferris at first.
Have you seen him like today?
Yeah. I hope he can get back to it.
I mean, like if it was back when Never Back Down came out, I could kind of see like that. I don't think he has the height, to be honest with you. And candidly, the main character from Never Back Down was almost my Maverick, but he doesn't, because he looks just like Tom Cruise.
Here's the thing, though. Height, I think, can be overrated to a point in Hollywood because they can make it work. I mean, look how short Tom Cruise is, and they make it work, right? I mean, mind you, compared to Goose, but I think the guy still pulls it off, though, because he plays an impeccable asshole. I mean, he was in Twilight in the first one. He's great there. He's in Bad Johnson. I mean, he's that guy that's a total D-bag that can be very fit, can show fighting skills. Him and Sean Ferris are going to play really well together, I think. Okay. And I think he's a good opposite going up against my guy for my Maverick.
Okay. I'm good with that. So we're obviously going to land on Maverick. Right. So let's go with Goose. My original pick for Goose was Dev Patel. Okay. He's I think he's a southern Asian actor. He's been in The Blacklist. He's been in a few different things, and I really wanted to have somebody like that in the number 2 role, but I couldn't get past this actor, Austin Butler. Okay. Austin Butler was the actor who played Elvis. I think he would be a phenomenal Goose. He has the looks, he has the goofiness, he has the ability to play piano, he has the ability to sing. He has the chemistry that I would believe that he would have with Eliza Gonzalez. He has the looks to match my Maverick in the volleyball scene. So I went with Austin Butler.
That's good. Mine is Ryan Gosling.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And the reason is he'll pull off a mustache that I need him to. He will sing and be goofy.
They have like paste on mustaches, right?
I know, but I'm going to have him grow his shitty little one dirt lip out for me. No, I think he's going to have fun with the singing scene. I think he's going to have fun with ScarJo. I think he's a great balance to the guy that I'm casting as Maverick as sort of being that goofiness and sort of awkward. Because Ryan Gosling's awkward, let's be honest with ourselves. Yeah. He'll hold up the acting chops. I think we need a big actor there. The look, the height, everything. So I think he pulls it off. Because I mean, Goose is ripped. He's not the greatest looking dude in the world, but you know what I mean. He's not the worst, so it's that whole appeal, right?
Right.
So that's who I'm going with for Goose.
I really wanted to cast Goose's son in Top Gun Maverick.
Me too. Miles Teller.
In the role, Miles Teller. I thought that he would have been a great Goose.
That's one of the best castings ever. Yeah. I mean, when you look at it, you're like, oh, that's my Goose. And you're like, well, fuck, I can't do that.
Yeah.
That's where I was at too.
Yeah, I agree. All right, so Maverick. I'm going to have you go first on this one.
Scott Eastwood. And the reason is he can be cool, collected, and calm. I went back and forth on this with about 6 people. Originally, I was going to go with Zac Efron because I always pick him, but then he's got that facial construction. I was just like, no. And now he's like way too jacked. I don't know if you've seen him lately when he's getting prepared for that wrestling thing, which I understand can change. But I don't think Zac Efron holds up well against the rest of the cast that I have.
I would agree.
For the character. Scott Eastwood, I think, can. I think he can act very well. I think he's the pedigree of acting, if that makes sense, with his dad being in the industry. He's got the look, got the age, got the appeal, got the bravados that we need. So that's my guy.
Okay. So I struggled with this too. I thought about Efron, against Efron, and I also thought Tom Holland. But I didn't think that Tom Holland could pull off the Maverick that I was looking for. So I also thought about putting Taron Egerton in this role.
Same here. Okay, we're on the same page.
But we cast him in everything that we do. So that's why I didn't want to add him. Richard Madden is my character.
Okay.
Richard Madden as Maverick. Richard Madden is, I think he's 5'8", 5'9", somewhere in there. So he's got the height that I'm looking for. He's got the acting chops. He's got the look. He's got the dark hair. I think he could pull off the aviator glasses. He has the ability to mesh well with my Austin Butler casting for Goose. I think that he would also mesh well with ScarJo. So those are my castings there.
Okay, yeah, I think it's funny because there's some roles that you went for the exact look, like I'm looking for height, I'm looking for this, and there's other ones you went way outside the fucking box.
Way outside the box.
No, I agree with you too because it was like funny. I had like people like Leonardo DiCaprio casted at first, and I was like, why? And then I was also living in that, the nostalgia age of like, oh, in the early 2000s, this would be awesome. And I'm going, well, shit, this movie's right now. Yep. And who am I going to cast? And I actually had a harder time with this casting than most because there are characters that you look at, like Tom Holland, you said, right?
Yep.
And I went, well, I already casted Robert Downey Jr. as Viper. How awkward is that going to be, Spider-Man and Iron Man talking again in a room about fighting planes this time? I can't do it.
Yeah. Well, the one thing that I was trying to do was I was trying not to cast comic book characters. And what I ended up casting was comic book characters, but not because they've been in comic book movies, just because I feel like they'd be a good mesh. And I think as Marvel and DC start to get bigger, it's going to be hard to find characters that haven't been cast in films. So, no, overall good casting, dude. What's your initial impression of mine?
It's good. I will say this. Your movie, I think, is built more for the modern age in the sense of like this. When they redid the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and there was that whole meme going around, like, this is what this would look like now, and this is what this... It made me think of that, like, with the color shading and how people look. I mean...
Right.
You went in, and you do this whenever we do these castings. You go very young compared to me, and I sort of go for polished and, like, actors that have sort of been around, and I think you can de-age, not de-age with, like, graphics, but you know what I mean? Like, you can make it work.
Right.
It's a good casting. It would be interesting. I think the one thing that you did very well compared to me is the fact that you casted people in the roles and other people so under, so the people could shine. I have a star-studded cast almost top to bottom to where it's like, who's going to outshine who in this film, and who's are people going to care about?
I think if we're talking a blockbuster that Hollywood is going to cast with big, A-named actors, I think you knocked it out of the park. I really do. I think if we're trying to have those, handful of good characters with some supporting cast, that's kind of what I was shooting for within this. I didn't want to have the biggest names, but I also didn't want to have the lackluster cast either.
I'll say your Jester is my favorite pick that you had, even with your Viper. And it's funny because that was your go-to one. What was your favorite pick of mine that I picked up?
Fucking Air Boss Johnson.
Yeah,
100%, dude. Like, but again, that was mine that I didn't want to like. Initially, I had Jeffrey Dean Morgan cast for Air Boss Johnson. It was really tough, but yeah, yours would pull that off 100%. So, well, this has been fun, man. This has been a little longer episode than we're normally used to. I think we're going to run about 15 over, but really good talk tonight. I think that this is a fun episode. I hope that, we get some feedback on our castings. We don't have a moderator here, so we do need to have some feedback on who won. So if you're listening to this, scroll over to Facebook, scroll over to Twitter, scroll over to Instagram at Bleach Bros Pod. Give us some feedback. Let us know which castings you enjoyed. Let us know which ones you think that we should improve on. And just interact with us a little bit, guys. And last thing I need to mention, check out our Patreon. We've got 2 shows coming out every single month. That's additional content. Chef Jake the Hater, Jake the Tailgater is putting out recipes once a month currently, but I think we're going to move that to twice a month. Am I correct on that, Jake?
Yeah, I actually have the new one written out, and it's actually going to be, I'll just give it out on this, people to look forward to if you're not on the Patreon, is a Southwestern style grilled lobster rolls.
Ooh, that sounds legit.
That are going to be delicious. So.
That sounds legit. So check out our Patreon. With the $3 level, you do get access to our Hippo Happy Hour, which is an extension of our intro banter every week. And you'll also get access to things like Jake's recipes. If we have any special merch that's coming out, you have the ability to buy those and just go from there. We do have our Salty Hippo, our Stain Remover tier, which also gets our Stain Remover episode, which we've had a lot of fun with. We really want people to listen to it, but we don't want to, throw it out there for everybody, right? Yeah. So if you even if you just want to try out a month, let us know what you think. And with that, Jake, what do you got for me?
Thanks for all the dirty talk, and come back and get sanitized.
But not from me, 'cause I'm long gone. You're so far off. Play along your innocent game.
If you're a fan of our show, be sure to check out this one to stay sanitized. Are you ready for something hot, hard, and heavy? And no, I'm not talking about your stepmom's newest toy, her boyfriend. It is me, Jake the Hater, here with my best friend, the Gnome from Dad's on Dayquil, doing a bi-weekly podcast, the Hateful Gnome's Music Hut, bringing you interviews, bands, talking shit. Hey, we might even shave our balls. A Spreaker Prime podcast.